Welcome, brave souls, to a journey through the shadowed corners of the Sunshine State. Florida, known for its sun-kissed beaches and vibrant nightlife, also harbors secrets that chill the bones and stir the imagination. Tonight, we delve into the darkest recesses of Florida's haunted history, exploring 10 places where the past refuses to rest. Are you ready to face the unknown? Then, gather close, for the tales you're about to hear are not for the faint of heart. The Maystringer House in Brooksville, Florida, rises quietly among the moss-draped oaks, a stately Victorian structure with a charm that belies the unsettling energy it harbors. Built in the 1850s, it has been witness to decades of history, some of it tragic, some simply mysterious, but all of it seems to have left an indelible mark upon the home. Visitors today often remark on the beautiful architecture, the grand wraparound porch, and the ornate details of its interior. Yet, as the sun dips below the horizon, the house takes on an entirely different character, one of shadows, whispers, and unexplainable phenomena. Over the years, the Maystringer House has become known as a hub of paranormal activity. Guests often describe the sensation of being watched, even when no one is near, a prickling awareness that travels along the spine like a warning. The air in certain rooms grows suddenly cold, and despite a warm Florida day, pockets of icy chill appear, as if the house itself exhales a ghostly breath. Footsteps, heavy and deliberate, are frequently heard echoing through the empty halls. Sometimes they climb the staircase, only to vanish at the landing, leaving no trace of who or what made them. The most frequently cited spirit in the house is a figure known simply as Gary. He is described as a man in period clothing, sometimes seen sitting in a chair in the parlor, other times pacing the hall with a purposeful stride. Gary is said to be a former resident of the house, and though his backstory is not fully documented, his presence is unmistakable. Those who encounter him report a chill that precedes his appearance, followed by an overwhelming sensation of sorrow or longing. Gary seems bound to the house, appearing at odd hours and vanishing when approached too closely, leaving visitors with more questions than answers. Other apparitions have been noted as well. Shadowy figures are often glimpsed in the corners of rooms or through the second-floor windows. Some witnesses describe fleeting images of women in long Victorian dresses gliding silently through hallways, while others see children playing in empty rooms, their laughter echoing softly but never fully forming into coherent words. Doors open and close on their own, lights flicker without cause, and furniture sometimes shifts slightly from one moment to the next. Objects, too, can act independently. Books fall from shelves. Small trinkets roll across tabletops, and silverware may be found rearranged in ways that suggest a presence unseen. Visitors who explore the house after dark often speak of hearing whispers that seem to emerge from the walls themselves. The voices are soft at first, almost indiscernible, but grow clearer as one stands still and listens. They sometimes form fragments of sentences, long-forgotten names, or muted pleas for attention. These whispers have no identifiable source. They echo through the hallways, climbing the staircase and fading into the upper rooms. Many who have spent hours in the house report feeling a weight upon their shoulders, a sense that the house is not simply inhabited by spirits, but is itself alive with memories and regrets. Some rooms in the Maystringer House are more active than others. The attic, in particular, is a place where the air seems to thrum with tension. Lights here often flicker, and the temperature can drop drastically, even on sweltering days. Those brave enough to venture into this space report, hearing rapid footsteps above and behind them, as if someone is following. Yet, when they turn, the attic is empty. Similarly, the basement has its own set of peculiarities. Cold drafts blow through seemingly closed doors, and the faint scent of flowers likely magnolias or gardenias, long past their bloom, sometimes drifts through the air, unexplainable in the musty underground space. Guests have also recounted interactions that border on the playful, though always unnerving. Some report feeling a gentle brush against their arms, or finding small objects, keys, coins, or scraps of paper left deliberately in their path. A few claim that these gestures seem almost helpful, as though a spirit is attempting communication or guidance. Despite the unsettling nature of these experiences, many visitors leave the house with a strange sense of reverence, as if the ghosts they encountered were not malevolent, merely lingering in a state between worlds. The history of the house itself seems inseparable from its spectral occupants. Originally a family home, it has witnessed births, deaths, celebrations, and heartbreaks over its long existence. The accumulation of these events may explain the density of energy that visitors feel. Ghost hunters, paranormal investigators, and curious tourists alike have flocked to the Maestringer house over the years, hoping to capture evidence of its otherworldly residence. Many leave with photographs showing unexplained shadows, thermographic images indicating sudden cold spots, and recordings filled with faint, disembodied voices. Yet the most lasting impression is rarely photographic. It is the feeling that one is walking among echoes of the past, that history is not confined to books but inhabits every floorboard, every pane of glass, and every shadowed corner. Perhaps the most haunting aspect of the Maestringer house is its ability to leave an impression long after one departs. Those who have spent time in the house often speak of dreams that revisit its hallways, of fleeting glimpses of Gary or the other spectral figures in the corner of their vision weeks later, and of an inexplicable sense of connection to a past they never lived. The house has become more than just a building. It is a vessel of memory, sorrow, and mystery. The St. Augustine Lighthouse rises dramatically against the Atlantic sky, a sentinel of history and a magnet for the supernatural. Built in 1824 along Florida's historic coast, this towering structure has guided sailors safely to shore for nearly 2 centuries. Yet beyond its practical purpose as a beacon, the lighthouse is steeped in stories of tragedy, loss, and lingering spirits. Those who visit often leave with a sense that something unseen watches from the shadows, and the air around the lighthouse seems charged with an energy that is both captivating and chilling. Among the most tragic tales associated with the lighthouse are those of 2 young sisters, Mary and Eliza. During the construction of the lighthouse, accidents were common, and despite the precautions of the time, the sisters lost their lives under mysterious circumstances. Their deaths left a permanent imprint upon the site, and local legend holds that their spirits never left. Today, visitors frequently report seeing fleeting glimpses of the 2 girls playing near the base of the lighthouse, their laughter echoing softly on the sea breeze as if suspended in time. The lighthouse itself is an architectural marvel, with a spiraling staircase that ascends more than 200 feet to the lantern room. It is here, some believe, that the veil between the living and the dead is thinnest. Guests climbing the stairs late in the day often report sudden cold spots, an abrupt chill that has no explanation, even on warm Florida afternoons. Some have described feeling the weight of invisible hands on their shoulders, as if the lighthouse itself is aware of their presence, guiding them, or perhaps testing their courage. Photographers and paranormal investigators have documented numerous strange occurrences throughout the lighthouse grounds. Shadows appear in corners where none should exist, and lights flicker inexplicably in empty rooms. Visitors walking along the lighthouse grounds after dark often report the sensation of being followed, hearing footsteps behind them that vanish when they turn around. The presence of Mary and Eliza is said to be particularly strong near the children's play area and the grassy slopes surrounding the base of the tower. Many who spend the night in the nearby keeper's quarters report that the air becomes heavy and charged with energy. Whispered voices, often indistinct, can be heard in empty rooms. Some claim to have felt a gentle tug on their clothing, as if unseen children were trying to lead them to a particular place. Others have reported the sound of small, hurried footsteps running across creaking floorboards, always vanishing as quickly as they appeared. The sounds are sometimes accompanied by soft giggles or the patter of tiny hands against the walls, chilling reminders of the lives that ended too soon. The lighthouse grounds hold more than just the memories of the sisters. Throughout its long history, the lighthouse has witnessed shipwrecks, rescues, and countless moments of human struggle. Sailors who perished at sea are said to haunt the surrounding shoreline, and visitors occasionally report ghostly figures wandering along the water's edge. Some claim to have seen faint apparitions climbing the lighthouse staircase, only to vanish into thin air before reaching the top. These experiences, while unsettling, draw many curious visitors and paranormal enthusiasts, eager to witness a brush with the unknown. Photography enthusiasts often capture more than just the scenic views. On many nights, images taken around the lighthouse reveal unexplained shadows, orbs of light, and faint figures standing at impossible angles. Investigators using audio equipment frequently record electronic voice phenomena, with faint voices whispering names or short phrases that seem out of place in the otherwise quiet environment. Despite the scientific scrutiny, the lighthouse continues to resist complete understanding, its mysteries woven tightly into the fabric of its history. Guided tours of the lighthouse provide both historical context and chilling anecdotes. Guides often recount the tragic accidents and unexplained phenomena, sharing first-hand accounts from visitors who have experienced the unexplainable. Many visitors report that even during daylight hours, the energy of the lighthouse is palpable. The sense of being watched, of footsteps echoing in empty spaces, and the occasional glimpse of fleeting figures combine to create an atmosphere where history and the paranormal intersect. The legend of Mary and Eliza remains central to the lighthouse's haunted reputation. Many who have encountered the sisters' spirits describe a mix of sadness and playfulness, an innocence preserved beyond death. Their laughter, carried on the wind, is both haunting and endearing, reminding visitors that the lighthouse is more than stone and mortar. It is a repository of lives, memories, and unresolved stories. Those who visit often leave with a profound sense of respect, sensing that they have glimpsed a world that exists alongside their own, where the past is never truly gone. The St. Augustine Lighthouse stands as a testament to both human perseverance and the lingering mysteries of the supernatural. Its spiraling staircase, shadowed corners, and windswept grounds invite exploration. Yet caution and reverence are often advised. Visitors come for history and scenery, but many find themselves touched by the inexplicable, sensing presences that cannot be seen but are deeply felt. From the playful spirits of Mary and Eliza to the phantom sailors along the shore, the lighthouse holds stories that defy explanation, offering a rare glimpse into a world where the living and the dead coexist. For those who climb its heights, walk its grounds, or linger near the base in quiet reflection, the St. Augustine Lighthouse is more than a landmark. It is a place where history whispers. Laughter echoes from the past, and the spirits of the departed remain ever vigilant. Each creak of the staircase, each rustle in the grass, and each flicker of light tells a story of lives once lived, tragedies endured, and a legacy that transcends time. The lighthouse reminds all who enter that some stories are etched not in books, but in the very air, the stones, and the windswept shores of St. Augustine, Florida. The Biltmore Hotel in Coral Gables, Florida, stands as a monument to 1920s opulence. A sprawling estate of grand ballrooms, towering archways, and lush gardens. Its elegant architecture evokes the grandeur of a bygone era, drawing visitors who come to marvel at its historic charm. Yet beneath the luxury and glamour lies a darker side, one steeped in whispers, shadows, and stories that refuse to be forgotten. For decades, guests and staff alike have reported unexplained occurrences, lending the hotel a reputation as one of Florida's most haunted landmarks. Constructed during the Roaring Twenties, the Biltmore quickly became a playground for the wealthy and influential. Its lavish ballrooms and sprawling grounds hosted high society parties, political gatherings, and glittering celebrations. During Prohibition, the hotel was rumored to serve as a discreet meeting place for mobsters and bootleggers, including the notorious Al Capone. Some believe that the weight of these illicit dealings has left a lingering presence, an energy that permeates the hallways and guest rooms to this day. The most famous spirit said to haunt the Biltmore is that of Al Capone himself. Guests have described a shadowy figure wearing a fedora and trench coat, often appearing near the grand staircases or in the hotel's long corridors late at night. This apparition is rarely seen clearly, It moves just beyond the edge of vision, only to vanish when approached. Those who claim encounters with Capone's ghost often report an overwhelming sense of authority and unease, as if the spirit still commands attention, even in death. Some have even felt a sudden chill, a reminder of the presence lurking nearby. Beyond Capone, the Biltmore hosts a host of other spectral phenomena. Guests have reported hearing muffled footsteps echoing through empty corridors, the soft creak of doors opening and closing, and whispered conversations that seem to come from nowhere. In certain rooms, furniture is said to shift slightly on its own, and lights flicker inexplicably, casting long, eerie shadows across the ornate walls. Visitors have described feeling watched, a prickling sensation along the back of the neck, as though invisible eyes are tracking their every move. The hotel's swimming pool, once the site of glamorous poolside parties, carries its own ghostly reputation. Patrons have reported seeing apparitions moving beneath the water or reflections in the pool that don't match their own. On quiet nights, the pool area sometimes resonates with the echo of laughter and music from decades past, a spectral reminder of the lively gatherings that once took place under the moonlit sky. Some say the energy of revelry still lingers, merging with the darker echoes of mob activity to create an atmosphere both enchanting and unsettling. Certain guest rooms are particularly known for paranormal activity. Guests in these rooms have reported sudden drops in temperature, objects moving without explanation, and a sensation of being touched by unseen hands. Some claim to have heard whispered warnings or directions, as if the spirits are attempting to communicate with the living. Others have awoken to the sound of doors opening and closing, or caught glimpses of shadowy figures standing silently in the corner of the room, only to disappear when they focus their attention. The Biltmore's hallways are another hotspot for ghostly encounters. The hotel's original servants' quarters, now converted into modern spaces, still retain echoes of the past. Visitors have reported fleeting shadows, inexplicable drafts, and the sensation of passing through invisible barriers. Even during busy days filled with guests and staff, some describe hearing the distant sounds of the hotel as it was nearly a century ago, the shuffle of feet, the murmur of conversations, the clinking of glasses during private gatherings. These auditory anomalies create a palpable connection between past and present, allowing guests to feel the weight of history pressing lightly upon their shoulders. Paranormal investigators and enthusiasts have long been drawn to the Biltmore, capturing images and recordings that suggest something beyond the natural world. Orbs of light, shadowy figures, and unexplained fluctuations in temperature are commonly documented, lending credence to the hotel's haunted reputation. Yet despite the scientific scrutiny, many experiences remain unexplainable, preserving the air of mystery that surrounds this iconic location. Even those visiting purely for its historic charm cannot escape the sense that the Biltmore is alive with memories. The grand ballrooms, adorned with chandeliers and gilded details, seem to hum with echoes of the past. The energy of celebrations that took place nearly a century ago, lingering in the air. Guests walking through the gardens at dusk sometimes report fleeting glimpses of figures moving among the foliage, as if the past is playing out once more in subtle, ghostly reenactments. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of the Biltmore's hauntings is the blend of elegance and danger. The hotel remains a symbol of sophistication and luxury. Yet the shadows lurking behind its opulent facade remind visitors that history is never entirely past. From Al Capone's authoritative presence to the whispering corridors, shifting objects, and apparitions in guest rooms, the Biltmore offers a unique intersection of glamour and the supernatural. Visitors leave with more than memories of architecture and gardens. They carry with them glimpses of lives once lived, of secrets whispered in hallways, and of a restless energy that refuses to fade. The Biltmore Hotel of Coral Gables stands as a timeless testament to both human indulgence and the lingering mysteries of the past. Its grand halls and elegant rooms conceal stories of revelry and tragedy, leaving visitors both captivated and unnerved. Those who step into its shadowed corridors may find themselves sharing space with spirits of the past, from infamous mobsters to guests long gone, all bound to the hotel by history, memory, and perhaps unfinished business. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of light, and every whisper of wind through the grand arches tells a story and invitation to witness the opulence, the intrigue, and the hauntings of one of Florida's most storied hotels. Fort East Martello in Key West looms quietly against the turquoise waters of the Atlantic, its weathered stone walls and arched doorways hinting at a long, storied past. Built in the mid-19th century as a defensive military outpost, the fort was intended to guard the island against potential threats during times of tension. Over the decades, its purpose shifted, serving variously as a military installation, a storage site, and eventually, a museum preserving Key West's rich history. Yet, despite its historic significance, Fort East Martello is most widely known not for its cannons or strategic location, but for a single, peculiar artifact that has captivated and terrified visitors for generations. Robert the Doll. Robert the Doll is no ordinary toy. Standing over 3 feet tall and dressed in a miniature sailor suit, the doll exudes an uncanny presence. Created in the early 1900s by a local artist, Robert was given to a young boy named Robert Eugene Otto, who became inseparable from the doll. Legend says that the doll's eyes follow visitors, and those who show disrespect toward it or make fun of it invite misfortune. Over time, stories of Robert's malevolent influence spread, and his home eventually became part of Fort East Martello's museum collection, where he continues to draw crowds eager to experience his eerie reputation firsthand. Visitors report an immediate sense of unease when approaching Robert. Even in daylight, the doll's painted eyes seem unnervingly lifelike, tracking movement across the room. Some describe a sensation of being watched, a prickling on the back of the neck, as if the doll possesses a consciousness far beyond its inanimate form. Photographs taken near Robert often reveal unexplained distortions or shadows, and many who attempt to mock or taunt him later claim that misfortunes follow lost items, minor accidents, or inexplicable mishaps that defy rational explanation. The museum staff, well aware of the stories, warned visitors to treat Robert with respect, emphasizing that even skeptics have reported unsettling experiences after disregarding the warnings. Beyond the legend of Robert the Doll, Fort East Martello itself carries a subtle but pervasive haunting energy. The fort's stone walls and narrow corridors echo with the ghosts of soldiers long gone, the weight of history pressing gently but unmistakably against anyone who walks through its halls. Visitors report hearing footsteps where no one walks, the faint clink of metal that could be long-abandoned weaponry, or whispers carried on the island breeze. On quiet evenings, the fort seems alive with echoes of the past, the mingling of military precision, everyday life, and lingering spirits creating an atmosphere both intriguing and unsettling. The museum layout enhances the eerie ambience. Rooms filled with artifacts, furniture, uniforms, photographs, and household items offer glimpses into lives once lived. Many guests report that these objects sometimes appear to shift subtly, as though moved by unseen hands. Some claim to hear murmurs of conversation from empty rooms, while others describe cold spots or sudden temperature drops in specific areas. These experiences are often fleeting, appearing and disappearing without warning, leaving witnesses with the sense that the fort's history is never truly at rest. Robert's presence amplifies the fort's spectral reputation. Those who come specifically to see the doll often report a combination of fascination and fear. On several occasions, visitors have left notes of apology or small gifts beside Robert, a ritual meant to appease him and ward off his alleged curse. Many who follow this practice report leaving the museum without incident, while those who ignore or challenge the legend sometimes recount a series of misfortunes afterward. Some stories are mundane, like misplaced belongings, while others are stranger, unexplained power surges, items breaking, or objects appearing in entirely different locations. Over time, these tales have solidified Robert's status as one of the most notorious haunted artifacts in Florida. The fort's exterior, too, holds echoes of the past. Its thick stone walls, cannon placements, and observation points offer a glimpse into Key West's military history. Yet they also evoke an otherworldly feeling when explored during twilight or after dark. Visitors wandering the fort's perimeter at dusk sometimes report seeing fleeting shadows, hearing the faint creak of old doors swinging in the wind, or sensing the presence of something just beyond view. The combination of historical significance and paranormal lore gives Fort East Martello a unique, almost cinematic quality, where fact and legend intersect seamlessly. Guided tours often recount both the fort's military history and its more chilling anecdotes. Guides share stories of soldiers stationed there, the fort's role in safeguarding the island, and the many transformations the building has undergone over the years. Interwoven with these facts are accounts of unexplained activity, visitors who feel watched, shadows that vanish upon approach, and the persistent tales surrounding Robert. These narratives are delivered with a balance of historical accuracy and eerie suspense, allowing guests to appreciate the fort as both a historical site and a paranormal hotspot. For many, the true draw of Fort East Martello is the tension between the tangible and the intangible. The fort's stone walls, artifacts, and cannon emplacements anchor it firmly in reality, while the whispers of the past, shadowy figures, and Robert the Doll introduce a disquieting sense of the supernatural. Visitors are often struck by the contrast between the fort's serene location on the water and the palpable energy within. A reminder that history is never truly silent. Robert the Doll continues to captivate, frighten, and fascinate. His reputation as a cursed artifact ensures that visitors approach with caution, respect, and a healthy dose of apprehension. Strange sensations, or fleeting glimpses of movement that cannot be explained by natural causes. In this way, Robert embodies the intersection of history, folklore, and the paranormal, making Fort East Martello not just a museum, but a living testament to the mysteries that linger in Key West. From the shadowed corridors and stone walls to the malevolent gaze of Robert the Doll, Fort East Martello is a place where the past never truly rests. Visitors leave with more than knowledge of military history or architectural marvels. They carry the experience of a place where history, legend, and the supernatural converge. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper of the wind, and every glance toward Robert reminds all who enter that some presences, once established, never truly leave, and some legends remain alive in ways both thrilling and terrifying. Nestled deep in the forests near Mariana, Florida, the Bellamy Bridge stands as a haunting relic of the past. Built in 1914, this wooden bridge spans a quiet waterway, surrounded by dense trees that cast long shadows even in broad daylight. Its rustic charm attracts locals and travelers alike. But beneath its picturesque exterior lies a story of tragedy, sorrow, and lingering spirits. For more than a century, the Bellamy Bridge has been the center of chilling legends, with tales that blend history and the supernatural, drawing both curious visitors and seasoned ghost hunters to its creaking boards. The most enduring story is that of a young bride who was tragically killed on her wedding night. According to local lore, she was traveling across the bridge after her ceremony when an accident or, perhaps, a darker twist of fate claimed her life. Ever since, her spirit is said to haunt the bridge and its surrounding woods. Witnesses describe a glowing figure in a white wedding gown, often appearing at twilight or on foggy nights. The apparition is said to drift silently across the bridge, pausing occasionally as if lamenting a life cruelly cut short. Some who have encountered her report an overwhelming sense of sorrow and longing, as if the spirit is trapped between worlds, reliving the tragedy over and over. Visitors to Bellamy Bridge frequently recount eerie experiences that defy logical explanation. Some report hearing faint sobbing or the soft rustle of a wedding dress along the boards, even when no one else is present. Others have seen shadows moving along the edges of the bridge, figures that vanish when approached, leaving behind a chilling emptiness. The sound of footsteps echoing across the bridge late at night is another common phenomenon. Accompanied occasionally by the sudden appearance of cold gusts of wind, that seem to pass directly through those standing on the planks. The bridge itself, weathered by time and the elements, seems to amplify these paranormal occurrences. Its wooden structure creaks and groans underfoot, sounds that some claim are not entirely caused by the passage of people. On quiet evenings, the wind through the surrounding trees can carry whispers or cries, lending an otherworldly atmosphere that is both enchanting and unsettling. Many who visit say they feel an invisible presence nearby, a watchful gaze that follows them from the moment they step onto the bridge until they leave. Beyond the bride, some legends suggest that the area around Bellamy Bridge may host other restless spirits. Historical records indicate that the surrounding forest and waterway have long been the site of accidents and untimely deaths. Travelers and locals alike have reported seeing fleeting figures among the trees, hearing disembodied voices, or glimpsing apparitions reflected in the dark water beneath the bridge. These phenomena contribute to the bridge's reputation as one of Mariana's most haunted sites, a place where the past seems never fully at rest. Local folklore emphasizes respect when visiting the bridge. Those who approach with curiosity and caution often report fewer unsettling experiences than those who treat it lightly or attempt to provoke the spirits. Some visitors leave small tokens of flower, a note, or a candle as a gesture of remembrance or apology, a practice thought to appease the spirits and ward off misfortune. Many claim that after such offerings, the atmosphere feels less oppressive and the haunting energy becomes almost serene, as if the spirits are momentarily at peace. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Bellamy Bridge, documenting strange occurrences with cameras, audio recorders, and EMF detectors. While skeptics argue that the bridge's sounds and shadows can be explained by natural phenomena, creaking wood, wind in the trees, or optical illusions, many encounters remain unexplained. Orbs of light, sudden temperature drops, and fleeting shadowy figures are commonly reported during investigations, reinforcing the bridge's status as a hotspot for supernatural activity. Even those who do not witness the bride's ghost often feel a subtle unease while on the bridge. The combination of isolation, the surrounding forest, and the bridge's creaking timbers creates an atmosphere that heightens awareness and amplifies even minor sounds. Many describe an almost tangible sense of history pressing upon them, the weight of countless lives and untold tragedies echoing across the planks. The bridge becomes a threshold, a liminal space where the living and the dead seem to brush against each other, and where the past feels vividly present. Some encounters have been so vivid that they become part of local storytelling. Witnesses recount seeing the bride's figure step lightly across the bridge before disappearing into the mist, or feeling the brush of a cold hand on their shoulder. Others describe hearing faint wedding music, or the sound of a carriage approaching from nowhere. These stories, passed down through generations, have transformed Bellamy Bridge from a simple historical landmark into a site of legend and fascination, attracting thrill seekers, history enthusiasts, and paranormal investigators from far and wide. Despite its eerie reputation, Bellamy Bridge continues to captivate visitors with its natural beauty and historical significance. The surrounding woods, the gentle flow of the water beneath, and the rustic charm of the aged wooden planks offer a stark contrast to the ghostly tales that have emerged over the decades. It is this juxtaposition, the beauty of nature intertwined with the lingering presence of tragedy, that makes the bridge so compelling. Every creak, every shadow, and every unexplained whisper adds to the mystique, creating an unforgettable experience for those who dare to explore it. In the end, Bellamy Bridge is more than a historical structure or a scenic spot. It is a place where legend, history, and the supernatural converge. The tragic bride, her glowing figure, and the myriad other reported phenomena serve as reminders that some stories never truly fade. Visitors leave with more than memories of a quaint wooden bridge. They carry with them the sense that the past is alive, watching, and sometimes waiting, making Bellamy Bridge one of Mariana's most haunting and unforgettable landmarks. In the historic city of St. Augustine, Florida, the old jail stands as a stark reminder of a time when justice was harsh, and the consequences of crime were unforgiving. Constructed in 1891 under the supervision of architect Francis J. Kennard, the building was designed to house the city's most dangerous criminals and those awaiting trial. Its imposing brick facade, thick iron bars, and narrow windows gave it a foreboding presence even in its early days. Today, the old jail operates as a museum, preserving the history of law enforcement and criminal justice in St. Augustine. Yet, despite its transformation into a public attraction, many visitors and staff claim the jail's past lingers, manifesting in strange and unsettling ways. From the moment one steps through the heavy, creaking doors, the atmosphere is thick with a sense of confinement and lingering despair. Visitors describe an immediate chill, as if the air itself remembers the suffering that once occurred within the jail's walls. The hallways echo with footsteps that seem to come from nowhere, and the clang of imaginary cell doors can startle even the most composed guest. Many report hearing whispers and low murmurs that fade when approached, leaving a haunting impression that the voices of past inmates are still wandering the corridors. The cells themselves are a focal point for paranormal activity. Small, dark spaces lined with iron bars and narrow bunks were once home to men and women accused of crimes ranging from petty theft to murder. Some visitors claim to feel sudden, inexplicable pressure on their shoulders while peering into the cells, as if invisible hands are guiding or warning them. Others recount seeing fleeting, shadowy figures moving behind the bars, figures that vanish when a light is shown in their direction. Cold spots are frequently reported, often in the exact areas where inmates would have been confined, intensifying the sensation that the jail is still inhabited by restless spirits. Several specific stories have become legendary among locals and paranormal enthusiasts. One of the most frequently reported phenomena involves the old solitary confinement cells, tiny rooms where prisoners were kept in isolation for days on end. Visitors describe hearing muffled cries and the sound of chains rattling, even though the cells are now empty. Some claim that the spirits of those who suffered in solitary remain trapped, their anguish echoing through the walls long after their physical presence has disappeared. The jail's upper floors, once reserved for more violent criminals, are particularly active in terms of reported hauntings. Guests and tour guides alike speak of sudden temperature drops and the feeling of being watched while walking down long, narrow hallways. Some have heard doors slam shut without warning, while others claim to see figures pacing or standing silently at the end of corridors. One recurring sighting is that of a shadowy man leaning against the walls, as if silently observing visitors. His identity remains unknown. Paranormal investigators frequently visit the old jail, intrigued by both its history and its reputation. Using cameras, EMF detectors, and audio recorders, investigators document unexplained phenomena that defy logical explanation. EVP's electronic voice phenomena have captured voices, calling out names or issuing faint warnings. Shadow figures are reported on camera, disappearing the moment someone approaches. Even skeptics often leave the jail with an uneasy feeling, as the combination of architecture, history, and unexplained activity creates an environment that is difficult to dismiss. In addition to the spirits of former inmates, some believe that law enforcement officers who once worked at the jail also linger. Reports include sightings of uniformed figures moving silently through the hallways, as well as the occasional scent of cigar smoke or the faint echo of footsteps that resemble the measured pace of a patrol. The mingling of the living, the dead, and the echoes of history makes the old jail a unique place, where layers of time and experience seem to coexist in an almost tangible way. The museum itself provides historical context, displaying artifacts such as old keys, shackles, and photographs of prisoners and guards. These tangible pieces of history often seem to intensify the paranormal energy. Guests have reported objects moving slightly on their own or feeling an invisible presence near the displays. The combination of physical artifacts and lingering spirits creates a powerful sense of connection to the past, reminding visitors that the stories and suffering of those who lived in, sometimes died within, these walls are not entirely gone. Guided tours blend historical education with chilling anecdotes, giving visitors a sense of both the reality and the legend of the old jail. Guides recount tales of notorious criminals, daring escapes, and tragic incidents, often punctuated by accounts of unexplained occurrences. Many guests leave the jail with a profound sense of history intertwined with the supernatural, feeling that they have walked not only among bricks and iron, but among the lingering souls of St. Augustine's past. For many, the most haunting element of the old jail is its enduring presence. The building's heavy doors, narrow corridors, and cold, shadowed cells act as conduits for memory and energy, connecting the modern world with the experiences of those who once lived and suffered there. Even in daylight, the atmosphere carries a weight of stories untold, and as darkness falls, the jail seems to awaken, its whispers and shadows reminding visitors that some presences never truly leave. Perched on the serene shores of Boca Grande, Florida, the Gasparilla Inn has long been celebrated as a symbol of elegance and southern charm. Built in 1913, the inn quickly became a haven for socialites, dignitaries, and celebrities seeking respite from the bustling cities of the mainland. Its white-columned facade, sprawling verandas, and manicured gardens create an inviting atmosphere, one that draws visitors seeking both relaxation and a touch of history. Yet beneath the inn's polished exterior lies a story of mystery and lingering spirits, a tale whispered among staff and longtime guests alike. The most enduring legend associated with the Gasparilla Inn revolves around a guest who died under mysterious circumstances in the 1920s. Details of the incident are scarce, but the story tells of a wealthy visitor who checked in for a short stay and never checked out alive. Some accounts suggest an accidental death, while others imply darker forces at play, though no definitive cause was ever recorded. Since that time, reports of unusual activity have persisted, making the inn a quiet hub for paranormal intrigue. Guests often describe a subtle unease upon entering certain rooms or hallways. It begins as a feeling of being watched, a prickling awareness that someone or something follows their movements. Some visitors report seeing fleeting shadows at the edge of their vision, shapes that vanish when directly observed. Others recount cold drafts in areas that should be warm, particularly near the older wings of the inn, where the original architecture remains largely unchanged. The temperature drops are sudden and localized, leaving guests shivering even in the tropical Florida climate, adding to the sense that something unseen is present. Room 214 is frequently singled out as a hotspot for paranormal activity. Visitors have reported seeing the silhouette of a man standing silently near the window, looking out toward the Gulf. When approached, the figure disappears without a trace. Some guests claim to hear footsteps pacing softly across the polished wooden floors when no one else is in the room. At times, faint murmurs echo through the suite, as if the spirit of the deceased guest is reliving the moments of his final hours, replaying fragments of conversations and movements long gone. The inn's hallways, lined with antique paintings and grand chandeliers, are also sites of unexplained occurrences. Staff members occasionally report hearing the sound of doors closing or opening on their own, accompanied by soft knocks or whispers that seem to come from empty rooms. Guests walking these hallways in the evening sometimes feel sudden chills and catch glimpses of a shadow that moves contrary to the light, vanishing when they attempt to follow it. One frequent tale tells of a bellboy who, while carrying luggage along the main corridor, felt a cold hand brush against his shoulder, only to find no one behind him when he turned around. Even communal spaces such as the lobby and dining areas have their spectral visitors. Patrons occasionally hear the faint tinkling of silverware or the soft murmur of voices when the inn is quiet. Some report seeing chairs subtly shift or move without explanation, creating the unsettling impression that invisible guests are still dining or walking through the halls. The inn's grand veranda, with its sweeping views of the Gulf of Mexico, is not immune to paranormal activity either. At dusk, some guests have seen a solitary figure standing at the edge of the balcony, silhouetted against the sunset, only for the figure to vanish when approached. The inn's natural surroundings, lush gardens, swaying palms, and tranquil water views, lend a serene beauty that contrasts sharply with the eerie tales. This juxtaposition of peace and paranormal activity heightens the sense of mystery. Many who visit the Gasparilla and find themselves drawn to these ghostly stories, sharing experiences with staff and fellow guests, creating a collective awareness that the inn's history continues to shape the present. Paranormal investigators and curious travelers alike have been drawn to the inn over the years, documenting unexplained phenomena with cameras, audio recorders, and electromagnetic sensors. Some investigators claim to have captured orbs of light drifting through the older corridors, while others report temperature fluctuations and voices caught on electronic devices. Whether skeptics or believers, many leave the inn with an acknowledgement that something beyond the ordinary resides within its walls. Staff at the Gasparilla Inn often emphasize respect and discretion when discussing these stories, treating the legends as a blend of history, folklore, and personal experience. Longtime employees have their own accounts, including instances of items mysteriously moving, lights flickering without cause, or feeling a presence during late-night rounds. Some say that acknowledging the spirits with quiet reverence keeps the energy calm, while attempts to provoke or challenge it often result in intensified phenomena. Visitors are encouraged to explore the inn with both curiosity and care, walking the dimly lit hallways, observing the antique furnishings, and listening closely to the subtle sounds of the building can provide a sense of connection to the past. Whether or not one believes in ghosts, the Gasparilla Inn offers a unique window into history, complete with lingering tales of tragedy and mystery that enrich the experience. In the heart of Pensacola, Florida, the Seville Quarter stands as a vibrant hub of nightlife, music, and culture. By day, the district thrives with visitors strolling along cobblestone streets, browsing boutique shops, and sampling the cuisine of local restaurants. Yet, when the sun sets and the crowds thin, a different side of the Seville Quarter emerges, one steeped in history, mystery, and lingering spirits. Long before the neon lights and live music filled the streets, the area served as a bustling marketplace and social center, a place where merchants, sailors, and townspeople mingled. The echoes of this past, some say, never fully faded. Visitors to the Seville Quarter often report a peculiar sense of being watched as they wander the quieter corners at night. Shadows seem to move just beyond the glow of street lamps, and footsteps echo where no one walks. The area's historic buildings, with their wrought iron balconies and narrow alleys, create an atmosphere that can feel simultaneously inviting and foreboding. Many claim that the spirits of merchants, laborers, and even long-dead patrons of taverns linger among the streets and in the upstairs rooms of the old buildings, replaying fragments of lives from centuries ago. The old bars and restaurants themselves are hotspots for paranormal activity. Guests frequently recount hearing faint laughter and conversations when no one is around. Some report glasses and silverware moving on their own, or the soft creak of floorboards in empty dining rooms. One bartender recalls a chilling encounter late one night, describing how bottles fell from a shelf without cause, and a glass slid across the bar toward him as though guided by an unseen hand. Such incidents are not isolated, and many who have worked or visited the area speak of similar occurrences that defy explanation. Several buildings in the Seville Quarter are known for particularly intense hauntings. The oldest structures, dating back to the 18th and 19th centuries, were once homes, warehouses, and meeting halls. Guests have reported seeing figures in period clothing moving through these spaces, sometimes vanishing when approached. In one restaurant, a waiter described the feeling of being gently guided through a hallway by invisible hands, accompanied by a sudden chill that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Other visitors have glimpsed shadowy figures watching them from upstairs windows, only to find the rooms empty when they investigate. The district's alleys and courtyards are equally enigmatic. Visitors walk in these narrow paths after dark, often experience sudden drops in temperature, strange drafts, and an inexplicable heaviness in the air. Some report hearing footsteps behind them, only to turn and find no one there. The faint sound of music, a piano playing, or a fiddle tuning sometimes drifts through the streets, as if the ghosts of musicians long gone are practicing for a performance that will never end. A particularly persistent legend involves the spirits of sailors and travelers who frequented the Seville Quarter during its early years. Many of these men were far from home, and some met untimely deaths in the streets or in the nearby waterfront. Guests have reported seeing ghostly figures in naval uniforms standing in doorways or leaning against railings, gazing out toward the harbor. Others describe phantom sailors walking the streets, their footsteps echoing over the cobblestones, accompanied by the faint scent of salt water and tobacco smoke. Paranormal investigators have frequently explored the Seville Quarter, intrigued by its combination of rich history and unexplained activity. Using cameras, audio recorders, and electromagnetic sensors, they document unusual phenomena ranging from flickering lights and sudden cold spots to voices captured on electronic devices. Shadowy figures and unexplained movements are often reported, particularly in the upper floors of older buildings. Even skeptics admit that there is an undeniable energy in the area that seems to resist rational explanation. Tourists who seek out the Seville Quarter's haunted side often do so with a mix of curiosity and caution. Guided ghost tours are a popular way to experience the district after dark. Combining history with eerie first-hand accounts, guides recount tales of tragic love, untimely deaths, and mysterious disappearances, while pointing out locations where paranormal activity has been consistently reported. Guests leave these tours with a sense of connection to the past, feeling as though they have glimpsed a layer of history that exists just beyond the ordinary. Some of the most chilling experiences are subtle and sensory rather than overtly visual. Visitors have described hearing whispers carried on the wind, feeling brief touches on their arms or shoulders, and sensing cold drafts in rooms that are otherwise warm. Even the faintest sound, a clink of glass, a muted footstep, can trigger a heightened awareness, as if the area itself is reminding visitors that the past is never truly gone. Despite the eerie tales, the Seville Quarter remains a lively and welcoming destination. Its mix of restaurants, bars, shops, and historical landmarks draws crowds nightly. Yet those attuned to the supernatural can't help but notice the shadows lingering at the edges of the lights. The district's charm lies in this duality, a place where life and death, past and present, seem to coexist, creating an atmosphere that is both vibrant and haunting. In the heart of Tampa's historic Ybor City stands the old cigar factory, a massive brick building that whispers tales of the past. Constructed in the early 20th century, the factory was once the beating heart of Tampa's cigar industry, employing hundreds of workers who labored long hours rolling fine cigars by hand. The rhythmic clatter of cutters and the faint aroma of tobacco once filled the air, a testament to the skill and dedication of the men and women who shaped Tampa's reputation as the cigar capital of the world. Today, while the machines are silent and the floors mostly empty, the building's history is far from forgotten. Many who visit claim the factory still echoes with the sounds and shadows of its past, making it one of Tampa's most compelling haunted locations. Visitors and ghost enthusiasts frequently recount hearing the unmistakable sounds of a bustling factory, even when the building is completely vacant. The tap-tap-tap of cigar cutters, the soft shuffle of feet across wooden floors, and the faint murmur of conversations are reported in various parts of the factory, particularly on the upper floors where the rolling tables were once set. Some describe hearing voices calling out orders, laughter, or the rhythmic hum of workers singing softly to pass the time, a haunting echo of a bygone era. The factory's layout, with its long hallways, high ceilings, and expansive windows, adds to the eerie atmosphere. Natural light streaming through dusty panes illuminates the worn wooden floors, but shadows seem to move against the grain of the sun, as if guided by unseen hands. Many visitors report sensing a presence following them through the hallways, a subtle but persistent feeling that they are not alone. Doors occasionally creak open or slam shut without cause, and some have felt gentle taps on their shoulders when no one is behind them. Certain areas of the factory are particularly active, drawing repeated attention from paranormal enthusiasts. The old production floor, now largely empty, is said to be a hotspot for spectral activity. Guests have reported seeing shadowy figures moving between the rows of long tables, sometimes pausing to lean over, as if inspecting cigars in progress. Others claim to hear the unmistakable snapping sound of cigar wrappers being rolled, a delicate but distinct noise that seems impossibly alive in a building now devoid of workers. The offices and administrative rooms upstairs also carry their share of haunting phenomena. Visitors describe hearing footsteps pacing across the floors above, even when they are alone. In some rooms, files and papers have reportedly moved of their own accord, sliding across desks as if handled by invisible hands. The faint scent of tobacco occasionally lingers, stronger than any lingering smoke from modern visitors, hinting at the spirits of former employees who once dedicated their lives to the craft. Many of the reports are linked to the factory's grueling past. Life for cigar workers in early 20th century Ybor City was demanding, and accidents were not uncommon. Stories circulate of workers who perished in fires, fell from scaffolds, or succumbed to illness within the factory walls. Locals believe that some of these spirits never left, continuing their work even after death. Guests often report seeing apparitions in period clothing caps and aprons typical of cigar rollers, moving methodically as though carrying out their daily routines. The factory's exterior and surrounding streets also have a spectral reputation. At night, the red brick facade, illuminated by streetlights, takes on a particularly haunting appearance. Shadowy figures are sometimes seen in the windows, and unexplained lights flicker within, despite the absence of electricity in the upper floors. Some say that the restless energy of the building extends beyond its walls, with passers-by reporting sudden chills, phantom footsteps, or faint sounds of laughter echoing across the empty streets of Ybor City. Paranormal investigators have long been fascinated by the old cigar factory. Using cameras, audio recorders, and electromagnetic sensors, they document unexplained phenomena, ranging from anomalous orbs of light to voices captured on electronic devices. Footage often shows subtle movements, shadows gliding across the floors, or objects appearing slightly shifted from their original positions. Investigators note that activity is most pronounced in areas where workers spent the longest hours, suggesting that intense human energy may have left a lasting imprint. Tourists visiting the factory often participate in guided ghost tours, where local historians recount both the documented history and chilling anecdotes of unexplained occurrences. Guests walk the same hallways that once echoed with the sounds of hardworking cigar rollers, listening as guides describe stories of apparitions, phantom footsteps, and whispers from unseen sources. Many leave with an uneasy sense that the building holds more than memories. It carries the presence of those who once called it home, continuing their routines in an afterlife of echoes and shadows. Despite the eerie tales, the old cigar factory remains a cherished landmark of Tampa's cultural heritage. Its history, craftsmanship, and unique architecture draw crowds eager to witness its storied past. For some, the ghostly activity adds an extra layer of fascination, a reminder that history is not always silent. Visitors leave with more than just photographs or souvenirs. They carry with them the sense of lingering spirits, the whispers of a bygone era, and the knowledge that the old cigar factory's legacy is alive in both the living and the spectral. Nestled on the island of Key West, the Key West Cemetery serves as the final resting place for over 100,000 souls. A sprawling graveyard filled with above-ground tombs, ornate headstones, and curious epitaphs, established in 1847. It quickly became the primary burial ground for the island's residents, from prominent figures and sea captains to ordinary families seeking a place of remembrance. The cemetery is distinctive for its above-ground crypts, a practical solution in the tropical climate and high water table. But these crypts, along with the winding pathways and aged stone markers, lend the site an atmosphere that is both beautiful and unsettling. For decades, locals and visitors alike have whispered of ghostly sightings, unexplained sounds, and restless spirits wandering among the graves, making it one of Florida's most haunted locations. Walking through the cemetery, visitors often note a peculiar stillness, broken only by the distant rustle of palm fronds or the occasional call of a bird. Yet, amid this calm, many have reported hearing footsteps that do not belong to any living visitor, soft shuffles along the gravel paths, or the faint echo of voices conversing in languages long faded from everyday use. Some claim that when strolling the cemetery alone at night, a chill air suddenly sweeps through, carrying with it the unmistakable scent of earth and flowers, as though the past itself is breathing alongside them. The cemetery's above-ground tombs and crypts have a haunting presence. Shadows appear to linger around them longer than natural, and some visitors report seeing faint figures moving between the stones at twilight. One commonly cited apparition is that of a woman in a flowing white dress, drifting silently among the graves as if searching for someone she has long lost. Others describe seeing sailors in period uniforms, a reminder of Key West's maritime history, wandering the pathways as though returning from a long voyage. These sightings are often fleeting, vanishing when approached, leaving only the echo of footsteps and the lingering feeling of being watched. Many stories focus on the unique epitaphs and inscriptions etched into the tombstones. Visitors have noted that some messages seem unusually direct, warning the living to beware or tread lightly. Others speak of love and loss, tragedies frozen in stone yet whispered through the ages. Some claim that reading certain epitaphs aloud has triggered sudden, unexplained noises, a rustle of clothing, a faint sob, or even the sensation of a presence standing close by. Tour guides often include these stories in night tours, creating an experience that blends history with the supernatural. Paranormal activity is particularly concentrated in certain sections of the cemetery. The older areas, where the most historic tombs are located, are the setting for the majority of reported phenomena. Visitors have reported orbs of light floating among the graves, as if tiny spirits were dancing in the dark. Others describe cold spots appearing in the midst of the humid Florida air, sudden drops in temperature that make them shiver even in the warmest evenings. The combination of heat, humidity, and the energy of so many past lives is often cited as a reason the cemetery feels uniquely charged with supernatural presence. Some of the most chilling reports involve hearing disembodied voices. Tourists and locals alike have reported whispers in the shadows, sometimes speaking their names, sometimes calling out in mourning or warning. Children's laughter has been reported in sections where no living child is present, and at times, people claim to see tiny handprints pressed against the glass panels of certain crypts, only to find no one there. Footsteps climbing stairs within mausoleums, even when empty, add another layer of mystery, reinforcing the sense that the cemetery is alive in a way beyond the natural. Animals seem to react to the cemetery's unusual atmosphere. Cats are sometimes seen staring intently at empty spaces, hissing or arching their backs at something invisible. Dogs have been known to growl or refuse to enter certain areas, suggesting that even they sense the presence of something beyond the living. These reactions are often cited by guides and locals as subtle confirmation that the cemetery is a place where spirits linger, their energy palpable even to animals attuned to the unseen. Paranormal investigators have frequently explored the Key West Cemetery, drawn by its long history and reputation for unexplained activity. Using cameras, electromagnetic field detectors, and audio recording equipment, they have captured evidence of anomalies, unexplained orbs, disembodied voices on recordings, and cold spots in precise locations. While skeptics attribute some phenomena to natural causes, temperature changes, reflections, or environmental sounds, the consistency of experiences reported by multiple independent visitors lends a compelling weight to the claims of hauntings. Visitors are often advised to respect the cemetery's history and the spirits said to linger there. Night tours provide an opportunity to explore safely, while learning both the documented history of Key West and the ghostly tales passed down through generations. Guides recount stories of tragic deaths, maritime disasters, and the lives of those who shaped Key West's unique character. weaving a tapestry of history that intertwines with the paranormal. Guests frequently leave with a sense of awe, a mixture of fascination and unease, feeling that they have glimpsed a world that exists just beyond the visible. And so concludes our journey through Florida's most haunted places. From the tragic tales of lost souls to the eerie encounters that defy explanation, the Sunshine State holds more than just sunny beaches and theme parks. It harbors the restless spirits of its past. If you dare to explore these haunted locations, remember, you're not just visiting history, you're walking among the spirits that still linger. Until next time, keep your lights on and your senses sharp, for the shadows are never far behind.